With St George's Day on Saturday, Richard Taylor is in Windsor on the trail of England's patron saint.
On St George's Day, the flag of England's patron saint flies above churches up and down the country. We've all heard of George and the Dragon, but did you know that George actually comes from the Middle East? Or that he's also patron saint of Portugal, of Romania, and of Russia? George has also been named protector of our royal family. So what better place to find out more about him than St George's Chapel, Windsor Castle? So why did George come to be England's patron saint? Well, when England went to war, and it went to war a lot, its armies wanted the protection and to shout the name of someone really fierce. And who could be fiercer than a dragon slayer? This book is The Golden Legend, written in the 13th century. It's a collection of lives of the saints, and with its wild tales of their amazing adventures, it was a medieval bestseller. And it's in The Golden Legend that we hear the most famous story about St. George. A town called Cyllene in Libya found that a terrifying dragon had made its nest in a nearby lake. To appease the monster, every day the townsfolk fed it sheep, or when sheep ran short, people. They drew lots to decide who would be fed to the dragon, and one day the lot fell to the king's daughter. The princess was led to the lake to be eaten, whereupon a Christian called George rode by. When the dragon appeared, George pinned it to the ground with his spear, then took a belt, put it around the dragon's neck, and led it into the town like a tame puppy, where the townsfolk cried, "Alas!" I'll bet they did. Of course, the story is a fairy tale, but it didn't come out of nowhere. To find out more, I'm popping just down the road from Windsor to Royal Holloway, University of London, to meet historian Claire Kennan. Why was St George so popular?
I think because he was seen very much as England's special protector. But interestingly, this doesn't happen until the late 14th, early 15th century. Up until then, he's very much associated with the military orders, but in the later Middle Ages, we see this transition across into popular culture. He is given royal approval by Edward III, and he is declared at that point to be England's patron saint, which of course catapults him into the public eye.
What about the dragon?
The dragon is very much representative in the medieval mind as all evil. So essentially when St George defeats this dragon, he is defeating all the known evil in the world. In defending his Christian faith, he was seen as overcoming the dangers of being a Christian in that time. So I do think that's kind of where the legend could be truthful, and we could get some glimpses of there being a real man who was St George.
The story of St. George and his dragon has thrilled and inspired people for centuries. And it's extraordinary to think that there may actually be a man behind the myth. Someone perhaps whose fight with wrongdoing was retold as a battle with a dragon. Maybe we all have it in us to be dragon slayers.
And to mark St George's Day, what could be more fitting than that most English of hymns, Jerusalem, from St George's Chapel? Queen was at St George's Chapel on Maundy Thursday to distribute the special coins in the ancient Royal Maundy ceremony. In this significant year, 90 men and 90 women were chosen in recognition of their Christian service. So I've come to Sunderland to meet one of those specially chosen, a man who has contributed his musical talents to the church for so long that when he began, Winston Churchill was Prime Minister and soap rationing had just been introduced. Ken Jolly has been the organist at St Gabriel's Church for 50 years. Ken, how did you first hear about this nomination?
Well, I got a letter from Buckingham Palace, and I've been a bit of a lad who played jokes on people over the years, and I thought somebody was playing a joke on me. I went with my granddaughter, and I was in the chapel. I've been in the chapel 2 or 3 times, and really, it looked absolutely splendid. And there was organ music beforehand, some of which I played at various times.
So what did you think of the organist?
Very, very good. Very, very good. It was just something that I will never, ever forget for the rest of my days.
You do look smart. As a surprise, we've arranged for Ken to watch the moment he received his Maundy money from the Queen. But words got out, and over 100 family and friends have gathered to celebrate and thank him for his years of service.
During the war, I once played 8 weddings on a Saturday. I benefited with 8 guineas that particular day, which was a canny bit of money.
But you've also played for some very moving services, including those of your own family.
Yes, I have. My wife was in the choir, and they sang the hymn, "How Great Thou Art." And she said to me, "Ken, mind, I want that hymn for my funeral, and you've got to play it." So when she died, I went up out of the stalls and played "How Great Thou Art" for my wife. And I also played "What a Wonderful World."
It's just absolutely amazing. He makes that sing, he makes the organs sing.
He has been a servant of the Lord and Christ in his organ playing and in his contribution towards the church, there's no doubt about it.
And he's just so sensitive to the congregation when he's playing, and he always catches the atmosphere of the service.
Well, he dedicates so much to this church. You know, he's been here 50 years as the organist. He takes part in all the weddings, all the funerals. He's just fantastic. I love him to pieces.
You're still playing for services here every Sunday. Why do you keep doing it?
Well, I do enjoy playing the organ, and I've been lucky with my hands. I have no arthritis, so I've got the great God to thank for not having arthritis. And what is more, I've had a wonderful life.
No plans to retire then?
Not yet.
Good.
Amen.